What if credit unions could actually grow their membership, not by pouring more and more money into marketing, but by doubling down on their core mission of serving the community? Today, we're going to dig into a really fascinating model that promises to do exactly that.
So let's just start with this big question right here. Growing your membership at zero cost? It gets right to the heart of a huge challenge for credit unions. Getting new, mission-aligned members. It's traditionally really expensive. But what if it didn't have to be? That's the whole idea we're exploring. And the answer? Well, it might just surprise you.
And the difference this model is talking about is, wow, it's stark. On the left, you've got your typical customer acquisition cost, or CAC, which for a new credit union member can be anywhere from $300 to $500. Ouch! But on the right, you see a model that's aiming for pretty much zero. Look, we're not just talking about a small improvement here. This is a totally different way of thinking about the economics of growth. Okay, but before we jump into the solution, we've got to really understand the problem it's built to solve. Because credit unions today are navigating two major challenges, and believe me, they are deeply connected. So what are these two challenges? First, as we just saw, is the crazy cost of growth. But second, and this is just as important, is fulfilling that core mission, right? How do you responsibly serve thin file populations? Folks with little or no credit history who are often just locked out of the system. And how do you do that while managing risk and making sure you're accountable? It's a tough balancing act. What's really interesting, though, is that there's this massive and growing pool of money that's specifically designed to tackle these exact issues. So the opportunity isn't about inventing some new resource. It's about unlocking one that's already sitting right there. And the numbers, they're pretty striking. Just look at this. Between 2020 and 2021, that's just 1 year, funding for community development financial institutions, or CDFIs, more than tripled. It jumped from $400 million to $1.4 billion. That created this enormous pool of capital specifically for community development. And this quote from the National Credit Union Administration, the NCUA, just lays out the intention perfectly. These funds are explicitly for innovative outreach strategies. Why? To increase financial access in underserved communities. It's a perfect match for the credit union mission. So the big question becomes, how can a credit union tap into this capital effectively? And just as important, how can they prove they're using it responsibly? This is where a really innovative new tool for verification comes into the picture. So what exactly is SlingShot Dem? Well, let's be super clear. This is not some consumer wellness app or a bike program. It's audit-grade infrastructure. And what that means is its entire purpose is to create verified, institutionally defensible data from a member's real-world actions, data that can actually stand up to regulatory scrutiny. And here's a look at how that verification actually works. The process is so simple for the member, but it's incredibly powerful for the institution. After a commute, the member just opens the app and taps their credit union's NFC card. The key thing here is that this action makes the credit union's card a necessary, functional part of a daily routine. This is really the whole concept in action. You take an everyday routine, something like a commute, and you transform it into a stream of verifiable proof. And this isn't just data for the sake of data. It's the specific proof you need to satisfy grant reporting and to get the behavioral insight that helps lower lending risk. Okay, so that's the mechanics of it. Now let's make this real. Let's see how this all plays out for an actual person. This is where the idea goes from abstract to concrete and really powerful. So meet Maria. Her story is probably familiar. It represents a huge segment of our communities. She's employed, she's reliable, but because she has a thin credit file, she's locked out of traditional credit, like an auto loan that she might need to get to her job safely and on time. So, through a program at her credit union, Maria's able to get an e-bike. And here is the key. It's financed with grant money from a community development revolving loan fund. This gives her a real asset that solves a real-world transportation problem, and it's all funded by the exact kind of capital we were just talking about. And this is where it all comes together beautifully. By using SlingShot to verify her commute every day, Maria isn't just getting to work. She's building a verifiable record of reliable behavior. This creates a true win-win situation. Maria gets access to a loan, she builds her credit history, and the credit union fulfills its mission and gets a brand new, highly engaged member for basically zero cost. Okay, so what does all this mean for the credit union itself? Well, the payoff here isn't just one thing. It's multi-layered and strategic, and it goes way beyond just getting a new member on the books. This is the institutional payoff right here. The platform delivers on key priorities all across the board. It turns member acquisition into a zero-cost, grant-funded activity. It gives you the hard data you need for grant accountability. And think about this one. It even drives top-of-wallet positioning because your credit union's card becomes a functional part of a member's daily routine, twice a day. It really is a comprehensive solution. And the key here is that a single verified action creates all these overlapping streams of value. You're not just doing one thing. You're getting grant-funded growth. You're generating new interchange revenue. You're creating credible ESG data for your reporting. And you're simplifying regulatory compliance, all at the same time. I really want to pause on this quote because if you take one thing away, this is it. The real innovation here isn't about e-bikes. It's about operationalizing verification. That represents a fundamental shift in thinking, away from just marketing a product and towards building verifiable infrastructure that creates trust and creates value. And so we're going to end with a strategic question that every single credit union leader should be thinking about. The public policy and the grant funding to support this kind of community outreach, they already exist. The question now is, how will you turn that opportunity into tangible, measurable, and mission-aligned growth?